All right, we are live. It looks like. Welcome to Tuesday Night Gun Chat. If you've never seen one of these, all we do is answer your questions about guns, firearms. You want to talk about politics and all that crap, we can do that too. So yeah, that's what you do here. My opinion is worth exactly what you paid for it, unless of course you give me a super chat, in which case my opinion is worth less than what you paid for it. So as you can see, we're Alaska, so we talk a lot about guns that are great for Alaska, guns that are not great for Alaska, as well as other topics and other good guns, self-defense, and all that jazz. Hopefully that is cool. So make sure you get in the chat. I do like to shout out everybody in the chat and give them a nice hello. So get in the chat, make a comment. I don't know you're here if you do not comment. There's no way, there's no list of viewers or anything like that on YouTube or StreamYard. So got the moose antlers behind me now. So if I am at the right angle, it looks like they're growing out of my head. So it's pretty nice. Anyway, thanks, Glocktua. I appreciate that. Anyway, but that, yeah, is what it is. So make sure you get in here, you say hi. A couple of things there. I do have my arms directory page. The link is in the chat. So that's where all the good stuff and the goodies are for supporting the channel. So go to the arms directory page. Make sure you do that. We appreciate you. The MeWe page is still up. I'm also at Twitter or X now at AK Ballistics, AK like the state of AK. So anyway, yeah, it is what it is. So if there's anything you got questions about, go ahead and start putting some questions in, and we will go. We will start answering those questions. All right, in the chat we got Alaska One Andy. Of course, again, don't forget to join my arms director page. Glock 2, so I like it. That's just a great name. Let's see. Hotep is here back. Justin Perriman. Thanks, Glock 2. I appreciate it. I try to be a little humble. At this point it's a joke, but yeah. Hey, what's up, Plowhammer? Good to see you again. Anonymous F. They still got velvet on them too. Yeah, he was in the process of peeling the velvet off. You can see this tip here, and up at that top side over here. He was actually in the process of peeling it off. I didn't know they were still velvet. He was 200 yards away. I just thought they were the dark bone, because some of them have dark bone, some of them have lighter bone. Just like us, right? And it's like I just thought it was the dark bone, and I got over there and it was that. So, yeah. All right, what's up, Anonymous F? Hello, the moose looks great. Thanks, David Posey. I appreciate it. Justin Perriman, do you have a 22 ARC AR-15? No, and I don't plan on buying one. I have a 22-250 and an AR-10. That's not too heavy. What would I need a 22 ARC for? The 22-250 way outperforms the 22 ARC. I know Hornady shows the 22 ARC getting the same 3,300 feet per second with a 60 grain bullet. I get 3,600 feet per second with a 60 grain bullet, and I'm not even at maximum loads yet. So yeah, it just needs a 26-inch barrel. 10 millimeter 220 grain hardcast Underwood, good for bear defense. Absolutely yes, it is, but a lot of guns are ammo picky with it. The 200 grain hardcast is just as good. A lot less guns are ammo picky with it. From Underwood. The extreme penetrators, the 140 grains that are solid copper, I won't call them. In my test, they've outperformed the hardcast. They still give, like, I still think if you hit really dense bone, it may not be as good. But in my test, they've always outperformed hardcast, and so they're good. And they run in Glocks and everything else just fine because they're a 140 grain. So there's a lot of stuff that's good out there. Buffalo Bore has that 190 grain monometal. It's probably the deepest penetrating one out there. I've got if you hand load, I've got CKB cast bullets. Ken's probably in the chat, or will be eventually. CKB cast bullets makes great cast bullets if you hand load, and they're only 180 grain, but man, they'll penetrate because they're a harder than the hard cast than the actual Buffalo Bore or Underwood is. So that's that. Howdy from Jagua. What's up, Jarrett Nash? How you doing? Jalga. Oh, Georgia? Georgia. Okay, I get it. Yeah. That's not how I would ever say Georgia. Georgia. There's still got to be the O and the R in it for me. All right. Is there anything like seal, sea lion, walrus up there? Yes, yes. I'm not sure about walrus, but seal is there. Are any of them legal hunt? If you are native, I have not eaten any of them. You have to be legally under an international treaty. Only the native Alaskans can actually hunt and trap seal for their fur. So that's that. Well, it's cool, but you had the best outdoors live stream on the platform. Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. What's up, Brutal Bob? How you doing? Did that moose taste good? Absolutely. He still tastes good. I'm still eating on him. All right. Hello, Chuck. Do you mostly hunt from the ground? Use a stand or a blind? I mostly hunt from the ground. Yeah, hunt from the ground. Get the high ground. Do you have a 22 Creedmoor AR-10? Nope. Uh, 22 Creedmoor will beat 22 250, but not by enough for me to like sell it and get a 22 Creedmoor barrel or something like that. What's up, fluffy 10 millimeter Jeep guy? Do you have a P226 367 SIG? No, but if you know one for where one's on sale, let me know. What do you use to select an area for your scouting? Topo Maps or Onyx? Onyx. Onyx is amazing. Good evening, Hunter Kirk from North Idaho. How's it going? Bob Jones. Good evening, Chuck. I really enjoy the channel. Well, thank you, Bob Jones. I appreciate that. So, anyway, hey everyone. Hope all is well. Really interesting 7 mag versus 300 mag video. Was surprised how much different there was. I also thought the case was just neck down. Thanks for the info. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. There are more powerful 7 mag loads that will start to reach in that 3,500 foot-pounds range, but you're not going to get that 38 to 4,200 foot-pounds range that you get with 300 Win Mag, so, or 338 Win Mag. So I have one. Justin, I have one. Cool. How do you determine a good area per species? Like, are you setting up on a water source, food source, or game trail? What is your plan of attack for different animals? Caribou, it's called in the hotlines and talking to people where they're moving through and seeing if they're there. That's what I do for caribou. Moose, there's pretty much moose everywhere in Alaska, south of the Brooks Range, and there's still some north of the Brooks Range too. Don't get me wrong, but moose are generally looking at areas for water, how close they are to road access, how difficult are they to access, because the more difficult they are to access, the more moose that are there. So this one I got lucky on. He was only 4 miles from the road on a four-wheeler trail, and I got there before anybody else in the woods did. So that's that. All right. Your favorite revolver model and your favorite revolver caliber. I hmm. So I really love my 44 Magnum 629 Smith and Wesson. I do think that the Ruger Red Hawk and Super Red Hawk is a better gun. It is heavier, but it can withstand the higher pressure rounds too, whereas the Smith is not supposed to be able to withstand the higher pressure rounds. I like my Smith and Wesson 44 Magnum. Right now, my favorite revolver would be my GP 100, just because it's so unique. Look it up on the channel, but I sent it back to Ruger when it wasn't chronographing right, and in addition to fixing the gap, the cylinder gap in the barrel and all, and the forcing cone and all that stuff, Ruger Cerakoted it for me in the Ruger Wrangler Bronze. Can't show it on the channel. Otherwise, I'd leave and run upstairs and get it if I could show it on the channel. But yeah, it would. It's Ruger Wrangler Bronze GP 100. That's my favorite one, but that's because it's unique to me. And Ruger did it for me, and they want to see it on the channel. So that's that. So is it practical to use tree stands or saddles to hunt moose or caribou? No. No, saddles meaning horse in, yes. But probably not what you want to do. Getting Chuck. What's up, David Thompson? Good tacos in Anchorage. I've only had amazing tacos in Seward. Hmm. I'm not a taco guy, but my favorite Mexican place is Serrano's. I ate there today. I don't eat corn, so I have like a strict diet with no corn, no dairy, no soy. Otherwise, I'm just sick to my stomach and passing gas all the time. Just nasty. Have celiac disease with gluten, so is what it is. So like, and I'm not one of those hippies that says, "Oh, gluten's bad." I literally have the disease. Like, it's genetic. From my grandmother died from complications of it, that kind of thing. All right, so any sell and buyback shops in Anchorage still don't know. Um, the more I think about it, the less I want to be unarmed in bear country. Yeah, almost every shop sells used guns, and just about every shop does. I would say look at Alaskan Ammo in Soldotna and Anchorage. I'd say look at Gun Runners in Anchorage. Look at Arctic Ammo in the Valley here. But everybody's going to carry used guns. They want too much for them in general. So you're better off saving an extra $100, if that, and going and get a brand new gun that you can break in. That's what you're better off for. So how long did it take to draw a moose tag? So the tags are you put in for them every November to December, November 15th to December, and you get drawn for them in February, and then the season will come around the next year. And this was a harvest ticket only. This is an over counter the hunt that I got this one on. So, and David Posey, I think it's over the counter for non-residents too. I'll have to look. Ruger Red Hawk 4-inch 44 mag. That is one of the best. Nope, I do not have a 960 Roland. They don't give out. Hey, Justin Pearman, you keep asking me about all these new guns and fancy calibers. They don't give out guns for free for being on YouTube. Okay. Sometimes you'll get a good deal on a gun or an upper or something like that. Sometimes you've done a lot of content and they'll give you a gun or whatever. But in general, you don't just get a gun for free. So you keep asking me if I have all these things, and it's like, nope. Sorry, buddy. Yep. What are the huntable sectors, and are the game rules and regs in the seasons mostly the same throughout? Oh gosh, where do you start, man? I would say download the Alaskan regulations and start looking. That's all I can tell you to answer that question, man. How long do you want to be here? And you need a college degree in hunting regulations to be able to read those things. So good luck. All right. I would yeah. If you're planning a trip up here, just call me or whatever. But like, no, it's not it's not something I can go into on here. There's different rules and regulations for every area. Some of them are way different. So is what it is. I had a K about where he hunted, but moose tags are generally over the counter. Yeah, yeah. There are some that are over the counter for residents, but a draw tag for non-residents. You got to be careful about that. I have 3 629s, 2 no dash that are pending recess, and 1 dash 3 that has the unfluted cylinder. Cool. There you go, man. I'm telling you. I'm an old timer. Played with Jap rifles and samurai swords my uncles brought back. I still learn from you. I appreciate that. No, I think we went over this one the other day. You may not use a drone to scout, period. All right. So, saddles as in terrain. Yeah, you can use those. In tree saddles? No. Yeah. Yeah. They're not pop. There's no reason to use those. You're just going to die when a bear climbs the tree. Let's see. Ruger and Smith are the only revolvers I use. Ruger SP 101 and 3-inch 357 mag, and my Smith & Wesson 500 mag. Yeah. Those are good ones. Now, one thing I can tell you about the 101s, even 2 3/4 and 3-inch, when you get into a long, heavy hard cast like 180 grain or even the 200 grain that's out there, it's gonna tumble out. Okay, it just doesn't have enough barrel length in there. So now, obviously, if you're coming to Alaska, you're probably bringing the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, but you're more likely to get mugged on the street by one of the homeless people in Los Anchorage than you are to get mugged by a bear. So I'm just letting you know. I double checked their site in 0, and I'll do a light coat of oil on the metal, but not on the wood usually. Yeah, sometimes in marsh country you can use the tower stand. Is pretty good. Yeah. It's not that it's unpopular. It's not that it's popular again. It's just a little bit more people are producing firearms for it now that you have the Rossi and you have Ruger and the Rossi. Yeah, you got two companies producing it, so people want stuff for it. Because those Rossis were limited production, so people are paying a pretty penny for them. Yes, you can. Got to write a sales receipt. Yes, I do. I use a catered in Vario. There's a video on it about it on the channel. Do you know about Ranger T Series 9mm? I've got a box over there for my next ballistic gel block thing. Do you get cell phone signal out where you hunt? Very rarely. I did use the Geo Spot, the Spot, for one. I do not recommend it. Yeah, get you a Garmin InReach. So yeah, there's some of the rules can change day to day. You got to call the lines and hotlines and see if they posted any new things on the caribou hunt and that kind of thing. So that's definitely something you got to do there. Just inherited a Winchester Model 7270 Wisdom. Could the 270 Wisdom be loading to almost 270 weather velocity? I think it can get within a 50 to 100 feet per second. I could be wrong. Um, I would. The Barnes manual is available for online to download. So you can download the Barnes manual right to your phone, right to your computer, and you can get it downloaded that way. And you can see if the 270 Wisdom will get 270 weather velocity. I think it's going to get you within 100 feet per second, maybe 50 feet per second, something like that. Maybe 125, maybe 150. I don't know. But I think if I remember correctly, it's going to get you that. Do you ever hunt with the 12 gauge, or that be strictly for keeping it in the truck or the house? I hunt ducks all the time with a 12 gauge. Nah, you hunt ducks, that's what you use, 12 gauge. Yeah. So yeah, yes, I hunt with a 12 gauge a lot. Do I protect myself from bears with the 12 gauge? Not much anymore. That I have a 58 SOCOM and a 4570. Much better waterproofing, much more accurate. And that 12 gauge, you still got to hit brain matter and brain tissue. When the buckshot splits apart, it often doesn't penetrate, especially at distances greater than 20 or 50 yards. That kind of like 20, 25 yards. So slugs are notoriously inaccurate, and they're not usually waterproof. I can put primer sealant on the 4570 rounds and be good to go. So yeah, do I think you can hunt with it? Do I hunt with a 12 gauge? Absolutely. If the 12 gauge is in my hand, is that what I'm shooting the bear with? Absolutely, it is. All right, hoping to have a fighting chance to get to my handgun. That's always on me. So would not be able to hunt without Onyx. I use it on public game lands, and my sense of direction is bad. I would get lost in a new area. Yeah, not me. I'm pretty good on sense of direction. All right, what is? I would be buying when I get into town and reselling 10 days later before flying out. Is the aggregation worth it? No, just bring the gun you have with you. Just fly into town, check the gun in on the airplane. Yeah, there's no point. How many one MO true of angle so what do you think about a rare 5-shot group 1 MOA capable hunting rifle or a shooter capable of getting that accuracy from said rifle? Let's see. I've got one, two. That one I don't really consider MOA, even though I've gotten MOA groups once or twice with it. But um, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All four of my Creedmoors are MOA capable. My 7 mag, that's 11. Yeah. I got 11 guns that I consider MOA rifles, and I do think the 5-shot MOA group is harder to get than a person shooter capable of getting accuracy from that rifle. Yeah, I do think the rifle sell for a 5-shot group. That's why I only do 3-shot groups. I know everybody tells me do 5-shot groups. What's the point? You're wasting ammo. 3-shot groups will do it. So yeah, that is correct. Lost Anchorage. There you go. What's up, Teddy Two Guns? Channel member. Appreciate you here. Sorry I'm late. I called Chuk out on his retail alert video and he called me a troll. LOL. Yeah, that's what he does. All right. I'll take a screenshot of this and send it to him. How's that? So anyway, uh, so technically the answer is no, we don't have any, but they actually have been coming into Alaska, muleys and from British Columbia, from the Northwest Territories. They've been coming to Alaska. Um, and so they're around Unit 12 towards the Canadian border, near where I got my moose. That'd be awesome if I saw a deer, a white-tailed deer, walk into that field that I got my moose in. That would be awesome. So yeah, that's that. Um, just pepperoni and rice, man. Bring a little mustard or ranch with it. Sea salt. I just boil the rice, put the pepperonis in to boil with it. They'll cook, man. So just get you a box of minute rice and one of the bigger boxes. Carry about half of that in the field with you. Yes, that is correct, especially for caribou. Hotep. Yep. Do you prefer 158 grain or 125 grain 357 magnet defense out of a 3-inch barrel? I've never actually shot a 3-inch barrel into gel, so my initial reaction is something in between. You know, if it exists. But the 125 grain should still expand out of the velocities it's getting, whereas the 158 grain might not, depending on bullet construction. So again, I'd be more worried about the bullet itself than I would be about the weight of the bullet. I'd remember, does that bullet perform out of this? You know, am I getting the 15 to 18 inches that I really need in ballistics gel? And am I getting some expansion? That's what you got to look at. So I want to thank you for your help on my Glock 21 and 45 Super setup. I got mine ready for September with 250 grain hard cast hand loads for a trail pistol this moose season for bear protection. Cool. No jams. You're running fine. You know, everything's good. You use alcohol or gas? Gas. I recommend gas. So, all right, Justin Pearman, have a good one, man. How is that SOCOM? I want one. How reliable? 100 to 47. LOL. Um, So the gun itself is good. There's been a run and a bad batch of 458 SOCOM ammo lately, so I have to run all my ammo through an ammo tester. Otherwise, that gun gets picky with it, and they are magazine picky. So you just got to be careful. I'd say recommend getting the steel mags before you got any of the polymer ones or the aluminum ones. So kind of is what it is. Budget duck shotguns. What would you recommend? I'm looking at $400 at the max. Pump shotgun, of course, and I would say go with the Stoker. Stoker has their P3000. I think I paid 250. That was 5 years ago though. So hopefully they're still under, and it's in a duck camo. It's been fantastic. So go do that. In Oregon, we paint eyeballs on the back of our hats to keep predators from attacking from behind. Any Alaskans do this? No. It just looks silly. You just turn around, turn your head, and look every once in a while. Max velocity per nozzler for the 270 WSN is a 130 grain bullet with reloaded 22 going 33.93. There you go. And I wonder if Austin knows what's max velocity on a that's max velocity on a I don't know. Let's see here. Wait, 270 Weatherby. Barnes. There we go. So 270 Weatherby Magnum. It's crazy. Barnes has an 85 grain for the 270. It's like you can get 39.26 with reloader 22. The Weatherby in 85 grain. All right, let's see here. 110 grain, 120 grain, 130 grain, TTSX or TSX. Looks like 3411 is the max, also with reloader 22. So, yeah, you're barely getting better um, with the Weatherby than you are the WSM. That's assuming the barrels are the same length. That's a big assumption. This was out of 24-inch barrel. So yeah. Person did not like finding is there may be a rail option to get something to some of those remote places. Yes, but only along the in general, only along the road system. The train track doesn't go very far from the road system, and there's not trains from the road system to non-road system towns. So that I know about. Like, I'll double check. Here, I'll get a railroad map of Alaska real quick. Yeah, the railroad doesn't go off the highway system very much. Sorry about that. It just doesn't happen. It's like there might be. Yeah. Nope. Sorry about that. You got to fly in a mini plane, or you got to four-wheel out 25, 30 miles out from that kind of thing. So my only bolt guns are Ruger Precision 65 Creedmoor. That's a good one. Ruger American 22 long rifle. Ruger 2 Precision rimfire rifles in 22 and 17 HMR. And my Weatherby Vanguard 7mm rim mag. How's your accuracy in that Weatherby Vanguard? My Weatherby Vanguard just sucks. Like, it's not one of the rifles I would mention as one MOA. I've gotten less than an inch before, but it's awful. It's the first light edition, so it's got like a tapered, fluted barrel. It's really light. It weighs 8.5 pounds, and it's 300 Win Mag, so it doesn't really kick that bad for 300 Win Mag. I'm hoping that glass bedding the receiver and the first barrel lug, hoping that gets it done. So. Gunworks dose 7-shot groups and have acceptable spread for the rifle with ammo they made for the rifles. Okay, yeah. There's that. I don't really care about groups in my hunting rifles. I focus on getting rifles that are cold boy accurate to point and aim. After that, I want. Okay, you want what? Right. Well, yeah, but I want MOA hunting for hunting. I want MOA hunting with a cold bore. I like shoot. I want to be able to shoot that first shot and then sight it in cold bore, and then I put the barrel cooler in. I have another cold bore. 5 minutes later, I shoot that shot. That's what I do for hunting guns, most of the time. So to get food onto the grill, be back in a bit. There you go. More important. Evening. No jams in the 45 Super. That's great. Every shot of 45-70 I can reliably print 3-shot 1 MOA group. No, I have not. But that's not what my 45-70 is for. So. Should I get the 6-inch barrel unported from KKM like the comp, but don't want to tune it? Want a little more velocity than the rest of the recoil. If you want more velocity, don't get the ported. Yeah, if you have a Glock 20 and you put in a 6-inch barrel, you're not going to notice it. that much. If you had the Glock Model 40 and you put in a 6.5 or 7-inch barrel, because KKM was making a 7-inch barrel there for a while, then it's going to really help. It'll add some weight to the end of the gun, that kind of thing. Not a lot, but enough to make a difference, small difference. Never heard about 45 Super in a Glock. Please provide some more info. So I got a whole playlist on my channel, Anthony. Like a lot of people just watch my lives and don't watch any of my channel. So I got a whole playlist on 45 Super. 45 Super is essentially the same outer dimensions as 45 ACP, but the case is thickened on the cup and on the walls to withstand higher pressure. So you can load bigger powder charges in it. Most of them are compressed loads. And yeah, so the 45 Super. Okay, so put it this way: with the 230 grain bullet, a plus P 45 auto, 45 automatic, 45 ACP, whatever you want to call it. All right, with a plus P and a 230 grain, you get 950, 960, I think. It's the max I've seen with 45 ACP plus the P and a 230 grain. You can get 1100 with a 230 grain 45 Super. Now I have a 6.61 inch, so you'll see me compare it to the 6.5 inch Glock 10 millimeter. So if you look up Glock, if you look up 10 millimeter versus 45 Super, it's about the same kinetic energy as a 10 millimeter. It's just got a .451 diameter bullet. Sometimes the load's a little more than a 10 mil. Like I have a 200 grain going 1350. 200 grain goes about 1300 in my 6.5 inch barrel. So kind of is what it is. Go look at those videos, Anthony. You'll like it. Does fall seem to become early up there? Yes, it does. It feels like it's fall already here. It felt like fall in January or in July. Excuse me. KKM barrel, TTI plus 4 mag springs and 22-pound tungsten guide rod. All right, cool. Your plus 4 mag springs. They don't weaken the feeding for there. So good evening from South Dakota. What's up, David Markin? What cell service is best up there? Probably AT&T. Verizon was absolutely terrible for me. Why does the cold mess with optics rangefinders with batteries? Well, I don't. So when things get cold, electricity is the flow of electrons, right? As I understand it, I could be wrong. So when things get cold, things start to condense. Okay, so your electrons don't flow as easily. It's that simple. So if you don't have that much electrons left in the battery to produce electricity, it's gonna get cold. They're gonna slow down the flow. Only one railroad from Anchorage to Fairbanks. One goes, well, it goes all the way down to Homer, doesn't it? Or Seward. It goes all the way down to Seward. Yeah, is that a true story? Yeah, they say that's a true story. The one who killed it with the 22? Yeah. So I think that's the same one you're talking about. All right. Love South Dakota. What part? Any non-chain restaurants you recommend in Alaska? Orso's, Simon and Seifert's, Seward's Folly. These are all in Anchorage. That's about it. It's about the places I go. Oh, the Marx Brothers. The Marx Brothers is good. That's really high dollar though. Dress up. There aren't any public rail stops either. We don't usually use. No, but there are some whistle stops. Okay, there are some whistle stops where you have to whistle it to get in. So, love my Ruger 6.5. There you go. Haven't shot the Weatherby yet. Soon. Yeah, cool. Hot Springs, South Dakota, North Mississippi. What's going on, Jonathan King? It's been a while since I've been to North Mississippi. Yeah, 1953 story. Forgot to add single shot 22 long rifle. Yep. I am looking at Tiga and Ruger American Gen 2 for other calibers as well. That Ruger American has a nice, comfortable stock on nice raised cheek piece, but some of them are still a little shaky on the fore end of that stock. So you might have to do some betting in that Ruger American. I actually have a Ruger American Gen 1 right here that I just bedded the stock on. Even though it's pillar bedded, I put some. It wasn't that accurate, and the stock was touching, so I dremeled out the stock a little bit, or sanded out the stock a little bit, so it's free floating, and is what it is. There you go. All that small plane transportation, other crashes reported regularly up there. Yes, regularly. No, you hear of one once a year, once every couple of years is when you hear of one. They're not always reported, but any tips on graduating from 30-06 to 300 Win Mag PRC? Get a gun with a good break. I'll tell you that much. 30-06 kicks enough. 300 Win Mag. 30-06 is not bad when you're doing like 150 grain, 165 grain, but you start shooting 185, 180 grain, it kicks. Cool. Stop letting California people in Alaska. Yeah, heard that. It's a Glock 20, so I will keep it stock. I would not keep it stock. Not for barrel loads, not for heavy loads. Which copper bullet for hunting all Alaskan big game with a 300 Win Mag, leaning towards this 175 LRX, but still underside. What's up, Ralph Flynn? Good to see you in the chat. Thanks for coming in and asking. That would be my number one recommendation. 175 grain LRX or 190 grain LRX, whichever one shoots better in your rifle. That's what my recommendation is. So, all right. Hopefully that is, yeah. Last year I killed this moose with a 6.5 by 284 Norma. I had a 127 grain LRX. There's a moose on the wall from that. Yeah. Now, is that too light of a caliber? A little bit. Is it better than a Creedmoor? Yeah. Yeah, it is. But it's a 300, with a 300 Win Mag. Yeah. 175 grain. I'll be hunting with my 7mm Magnum next week, and it'll be a 145 grain LRX for moose. So yeah. The only thing I would say the 175 grain LRX is not good for would be bison. If you get that once in a lifetime permit for to hunt bison up here, you're talking about 1,200 pounds of meat on top of all that animal, and that big old thick fur. I would say with a bison, just I go to 375 Ruger, 375 H&H. If you ever draw that tag, buy another gun. Like, just go buy your 375 or your 416, that kind of thing. Everybody hit the like button so we can defeat Al Gore and his rhythm. There you go. I kept my Glock stock and my CC Shadow 2 stock as well. Carry and even USPA. There you go. So are there towns and villages with no roads and only accessible by plane? Yes. Is this mostly Inuits or different native tribes? How do they sustain themselves? Mostly small pockets, I assume. You'd have to ask somebody that actually lived there. But yeah, they sustain themselves from hunting and fishing, and they do all that. They sustain themselves some off the government uh, welfare. They do that. So is what it is. Pagoda in North Pole. I've heard that's pretty good. Do you pretty much use the same method to field dress all big game? Do you open up the hide and kind of use it like a tarp to lay out the meat? No, but that's a good idea. I haven't thought about that. So yeah. So yeah, my weather's pretty good today. So is threaded KKM 5-inch barrel or six? Just get the threaded one. The threaded one I have is 6.5. I don't know what they make it in now. I haven't kept up with their website that much, to be honest with you. What caliber do you recommend for hunting all around big game in Alaska? I am used to hunting whitetail with a 270 Winchester bolt action. First of all, that'll do almost everything but bison. If you have a good, well constructed bullet, not like a bullet that explodes, but one that opens up and expands, but still keeps enough of its weight to penetrate through, something like the Barnes LRX, the Barnes TTSX, Federal Terminal Scent, Federal Fusion, not Federal Power Shock, the blue boxes. Don't do that. If you have a well constructed bullet, Hornady CX is pretty good. If you have a well constructed bullet and you put it in the right place, Use your 270 for everything you need. Okay. If you want one gun that's good for everything, 300 Win Mag. Personally, if I were you, I'd buy a 375 Ruger. That's your bison, brown bear, moose gun. Anything else you hunt with a 270. Okay, black bear, um, caribou, deer, sick of black-tailed deer, that kind of thing. Hunt with your 270, you're fine. Unless, of course, there's bear on your deer or caribou. Then you're not fine. But carry your handgun. All right. What factory ammo do I need for my Red Hawk 44 Magnum to maximize the capability of the revolver? What are you trying to do with it? Rich B, you live in Virginia, right? Or Georgia? Or that's not, you don't live in Georgia. I think you said mentioned Virginia in the back. So, yeah, let me know what you're going to do with it. Right now, it's about 359. What's up, Caden? How you doing? Been a while. But to answer your question, the 340 grain plus P plus will certainly do anything you want it to do. The Buffalo Bore 340 grain hard cast. But again, depends on what you want to do with it. If you're wanting to deer hunt with it, I would get the Underwood 200 or 240 grain XTP. I would not get hard cast for deer hunting, but it still work. You'd still break both shoulders. So is what it is. I have not. As long as it's not an ELDX, you'll be fine. Yep. There you go. Get the threaded one. Tell them Alaskan Ballistic sent you, and they might charge you the double. I mean, they might help. They might say thanks. Let's see. Hello, Christopher Abnett. Hello. Hunting and fishing are 1/2 to 3/4 to sustain ourselves. Luminous Dave's knows he lives out in the bush. Then the rest is up to what we choose, either government assistance or what we pay our job. Or yeah, yep, exactly. Powerful Preps, what's up, brother? What did you shoot that moose with? 6.5 by 284 Norma. That's what I shot it with. That ammo's hidden. Sorry. Or hold on. What's this? Nope. Sometimes I have ammo that's real close by that I can go, yep, oh, here's, let me show you. But nope, not the night on that round. Think about more powerful than a Creedmoor, less than a PRC. So, yes, Virginia and deer hunting. Yeah, again, probably a Underwood's 240 grain XTP load. I wouldn't use a gold dot, but it is what it is. KKM, the threaded Gen 5 is 5.2 inches. Okay. Here you go. That's cool, brother. Yeah. Now, one of the things you can do, Anonymous, since you're asking about hunting up here all so much, one of the things you can do is actually fly to a native village, get permission to hunt with them, or pay them to help you hunting, and they'll take you out sometimes. So there's that. Plan to load my 06 with 180 to 200 grains and then go from there. When I get the Win Mag, I'm going to use the reduced load on Hodgson with the 150 grain CX. Yeah, there you go. To be honest with you, as long as that 150 grain is going 31, you're okay. If it's going 3,000, just you can make it go 3,000 in the 06. It'll kick the same. So, something to think about. I have almost always in my professional career been a school teacher. Yes, there was one year I took off to sell cars. That was, I wouldn't say the biggest mistake of my life. I'm thankful for the lessons learned during that mistake, so that could be where I am today. But is oh yeah, oh gosh, yeah. Let's see. Barnes makes a 208 grain LRX. Um, Federal Terminal Scent makes their 200 grain in a the Terminal Scent from Federal is 200 grains in a 300 Win Mag. Yeah, there's 220 grain. I have a box of 220 grain Noslers partitions to load up. So, oh, Ted Nugent swears by him. He only hunts little pussy deer. Excuse my language, pansy deer. Yeah, I don't see consistency in the extreme spread. I mean, if you can buy the bullets and hand load them, I've seen them jacket separate in tests. Go look at David. Go look at my 25 odd 6 versus 270 versus 30 odd 6, and tell me you would ever use Remington Core Lock again afterwards. So go look at my 25-06 versus 270 versus 30-06 video and tell me if you would ever, ever use um, Remington Core Lock again after that. So yeah, yeah, Luminous Dave. There's no like 200 grain. No, you'd have to hand load it. Are there wild boars in AK? No, not that I know of. Never heard of any wild boars being up here. If they were, I would shoot them, but I haven't heard about them. So that's that. Rich B, I have plenty of uh, videos on my channel with some hand-loaded 10mm rounds, and even some hand-loaded 9mm rounds. So yeah, they're here. They're on the channel. Some of y'all got to watch more than just these videos here. You got to go watch some of the old videos. There you go. Yep. You can't hunt polar bears. I mean, Remy Corlock works if it's the only thing. Yeah. At least not as a non-native. I think some Luminous Dave. Can some natives hunt polar bears, or is that just banned? I think you have to go to Canada to actually hunt polar bears. So maybe Russia, they have them too. So polar bear is the most dangerous bear by far. Remington Corlock is the kind of ammo I would pay you to put back in your truck before a hunt. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm telling you. Yep. No food, just snow. So polar bears will attack anything. Yeah. I mean, they eat seals and stuff and that's in the water, but and fish and stuff. But yeah, they are very powerful. I would not put it into the U.S. stock market right now. It's only being propped up by the fact that they're going to lower interest rates and print more money and cause more inflation for the rest of us. I'd put your money into guns and ammo. Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. I was just wondering, brother, if you knew anybody up there, had family up there, that kind of thing. I didn't figure you knew, but maybe you knew somebody that knew. Yeah, I see no point in like if you see a polar bear, you're probably going to have to defend yourself with it from it. So there is that. No, I put my food in a scent-proof roll-up bag. Usually, you put it inside Ziploc bags, and then or Ziploc bags or other big zip bags of some kind. Then you put it in a roll-up dry bag. They can't. They can't get it. They can't smell it. And if you tie it, like if you're in southern Alaska where there are trees, you can throw it over a branch, tie it up, and with some 550 cord, throw it over a branch. You can raise and lower it as you need it. So, Wade, you're funny, dude. You're funny. Glock 2. Ammo for sure. 9mm was like $55 for 50 at the peak of the shortage. Crazy. No guy who had a polar bear break in his cabin. Table between him and the bear took 5 shots from a 12 gauge to stock attack. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that does not surprise me. I wonder what his 12 gauge is loaded, but they are tough animals. Like that black bear, very small black bear that I got, 5 shots from the 7mm rim mag hit him, and he kept going through 4 of them like he was not hit. And on top of that, I had to put 2 10mm shots through his head when I found him an hour later. Is what it is. You see a polar bear when I lived in Barrow. That's cool. I'd love to see a polar bear. All right. Tent, anything 3.5 seasons is fine. Get as light as you can if you're backpacking in. Sleeping pad. I like the static V's. Get those Climate static V's. The short, don't get the short unless you're a baby. The regular one's just fine. There is a tall one. Sleeping pad. Sleeping bag. I use a Cabela's 15 degree for hunting because it's so lightweight. But if I'm camping near the car, I use this heavy 0 degree bag. So, is what it is. Yeah, I wonder if he shot with polar bear with slugs or buckshot. Yeah, doesn't matter. He should have been using a 45-70. Have you ever used an M1A for hunting? No, but I do have my cameraman's on the channel. In fact, next week I'll be producing a video with that M1A in it, and it's been on the channel before in that Spear Gold Dot 150 grain 308 video. So if you want to go look at that, I will say that I would have no problems use it for hunting. It's just going to be heavy. But if you're doing like a 4-wheeler in and you only have to walk a mile, who cares? Use it. But if you're doing like a 15-mile pack, yeah, don't do that. But go buy a bolt gun for that. But yeah, yeah, the Clement sleeping pads are awesome, dude. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, Luminous Dave. All right. How long you been into guns? Since I was 7 or 8, and are also reloading to gain as much knowledge as you've gained. You're a great source for this news week. I appreciate that. If I turn my computer around and you saw the reloading bench, you wouldn't say that. You'd be like, "Holy crap, that's messy." It's because I'm cleaning up this whole area, getting this room ready to be a real true YouTube studio. Got a lot of work to do. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, I appreciate that. Been into reloading since I was 19. So more than that for shotgun. My dad reloaded shotgun shells. He didn't reload rifle. He does now. I got him a good deal on a press. All right. Yeah. And that was a small black bear. And my smaller brown bear, I shot through the throat with a 338 Win Mag, and it was still reflex breathing when I got up to it. It went. That's with a 250 grain partition. It would just lay there like it's dead and go shiver. It got some 45 Super, Red Team 98, wherever you are. It got some 45 Super to the head to finally stop doing that. I was thinking about go ahead and starting to skin it. Glad I didn't. Thoughts on Steiner scopes? They're good. They're good. A little expensive, but they're good. Small black bear, anything under 150 pounds. So, is what it is. Man, I didn't realize I've talked that long. It's been 53 minutes. Sweet. Yeah, the pump. My brother-in-law, his father-in-law, all right. Um, not my wife's dad, but his wife's dad. He uses a 760, I think it is, pump, 30-06, for bear defense. He doesn't like a rifle that if you drop, you can't. It'll go off, and a lot of bolt actions with light triggers will. So he uses that pump 30-06 in 7600, 7060, I think it was one of the two, and he keeps it with 4 rounds in the magazine and none in the chamber. And if he sees a bear or smells a bear or sees active bear scat, he'll rack one into the chamber. Yes, you do need hard cast to get through that bear fat. That's for sure. Benelli M2 or Stoger M300. You're going to spend a lot less money on that Stoger, and you're going to probably have a good, reliable gun. I'm not going to say they've never had issues. So I would probably spend a lot less money on the Stoger, but if you have the money, buy a Benelli. Thoughts on Savage Axis? I've had one. I did not shoot it enough to see how accurate it was. I did a few videos with the 25-06 in it. It was a 25-06 Savage Axis. I did a few videos with that in it, and I sold it. Mine was great, although I don't know about the accuracy, like I said, but the trigger on it was freaking amazing. It was like 3 pounds factory. All right, and then other people bought the same exact gun, and it was like 4 pounds accurate, 4 or 5 or 7. So I would just say, see if you can pull the trigger before you can, you know, safely, make sure it's unloaded, point it in a safe direction. But yeah, um, see if you can pull the trigger first on Savage Axes. If somebody's selling it now, the combos that they sell at the stores, the scope usually isn't worth a darn on it, and the rings and bases are really not worth a darn. So I would do that. We only have black bears near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at least near Pittsburgh. I would have hoped I had on my brown pants that day. LOL. I have a Benelli M2. Love it. It is my crow hunting gun. There you go. Have you noticed climate change up there? Warmer winter temps and warmer in the summer? No, no, not really. Not anything that wouldn't be out of the normal. In fact, it's gotten colder the last few years. So, yeah, no. I'm not saying the climate doesn't change, but we're actually 7 degrees cooler than we used to be 5,000 years ago, according to the same scientists. So, yeah, I pretty much think as long as you're not going out there and spewing a bunch of methane into the air on a big smokestack, um, yeah, you're fine. You know, let's be smart about it, but we don't need to, you know, um, we don't need to end all Western civilization and pay more taxes for climate change. Yeah, I've never seen taxes change the environment. So, thoughts on 130 green Barnes TTSX out of 308 for moose and other large game? For moose, I think it'd be fine. For brown bear, it would not be my first choice, though it could probably do the job. Um, but yeah, that 130 grain Barnes TTSX out of a 308 is a heck of a load. That would be number one load for caribou out of 308. That would be my number one load for black bear out of 308. It should do moose just fine because I killed this moose with a 127 grain LRX last year. So not even as tough a butt thing. We had a cub in the grinder room. LOL. Big boss con got scared. I was just like, boo! It is way more scared of you. LOL. There you go. When I'm working near bear country, it's a 10 millimeter with a hard cast. There you go. Hard cast 10 millimeters. Hard to beat. I have had in my penetration tests, the extreme penetrators actually go farther, but is what it is. Yep. Yeah, I've held one in my hands. It's smooth. I think it's a little too expensive. You can get a Henry X for less money. But it's smooth. It feels nice. Seems well made. I'm one of those things. Smith and Wesson and Sig. I never want to buy any of their first things that come out. Let me have a Gen 2 or something like that. So, yeah, pistol ammo is pretty simple to reload. Actually, though, in my opinion, you have one more step because of the case mouth expansion. You don't have to do that to bottleneck rifles. So, what kind of dishes do you make for that moose? No, I do not harvest the organs. That's gross. Um, but yeah, I make burger and steaks. Glock 2, I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Okay, so let's walk through this Glock 2. Let's say that I want to load 300 Winchester Magnum. I can find stuff from $44 a box to over $100 a box, depending where I go right now. But let's just say I want to do something in the middle that's about $65 a box. The 190 grain Barnes LRX, the last time I bought them, were 60 or $65 a box. So let's call it 65. Okay, if I buy the bullets, that's um that is $50 for 50 bullets. Let's call it that. It's a little less than that. It's usually like 44 or 45. Let's call it $50 for shipping, okay? I got 190 grain LRX bullets for my 300 Win Mag. If I buy the powder, I'm only using about half a pound of powder, little more than. So let's say it's a real expensive powder and I'm spending $40, okay? All right. If I already have the casings, I don't have to pay for the casings, and the primers are about $10 when you can find them. Okay, so without buying new casings, I've spent $100, but I get 50 rounds out of that. Okay, if you're paying $65 a box, you spend $130 for 40 rounds. Is what it is, right? Now, if you have to buy the casings, brand new casings, you're right. It's not true hand loading, but in general, hand loading is still cheaper until you pay yourself minimum wage for the time it takes you to do it. Then it's way more expensive. All right, I have not tried any of the Savage straight pulls. When I was young and dumb in the 70s, I bow hunted Alaska with Fred Bear a number of times, and I have one in each of all Alaskan bears, full mounts. You are extremely fortunate to live there. There you go. Yeah. 22 to 250 to 300 Win Max, still way cheaper to reload. Agreed. Couldn't even get primers and stuff for a while. You could if you looked around. They were there. People, when they were $4 a sleeve, people were charging 7 or 8, but you could get them. I've never gone bird hunting, but I own a Mossberg 940 JM Pro 24-inch and over under CZ Drake 28-inch and a Remington 870 26-inch 12-gauge pump. No, use your 870. That's what I use. I've had the same 870 since I was 12. I do have the Stoker P3000. Sometimes I carry it because it's lighter. But yeah, no, use your Remington 870 or your CZ Drake over and under, whichever you prefer. Your Mossberg 940, make sure that you have to plug it to 2 rounds in the tube and 1 in the chamber. So is what it is. Yeah, back in 2010 with the Obama scare and the Sandy Hook stuff, primers were $15.99 for 1,000. Yeah, I get it. Long time Alaskan. Yes, it's a lot milder temperature wise. Negative 33 degrees last year was not milder, but I'm glad it was for you. That bear story making me consider a 35 Whalen instead of a 338.06 like I was planning. Yeah, you're gonna get more ammo with a 338 Whalen. It's at least available on the shelf most places here. Um, not much is available, but most places here. Climate activists have lost their mind. Climate change is a joke. Fear mongering. I pretty much agree with that. Like, I'm not saying there aren't anything different about the environment. There probably is, but like, what is the government going to do that solves it with taxes? Nothing. Oh, let's see. Yeah, the Anchorage has imported snow, but it was really icy and cold that year. It just didn't snow much, which would show global warming is not occurring because global warming was occurring, it would snow a whole heck of a lot more because it'd be warming the water up and the water would hit the cold temperatures up here and snow. So, all right. Just thought I'd jump in and say hi. Well, guys, I think I'm going to go take my kid on a 4-wheeler ride before he goes to bed. I hadn't spent a lot of time with him lately. So, uh, anyway, wish me luck. Hopefully, I'll run into that bear we ran into last time and I can shoot him this time. So anyway, wish me luck. I hope you yeah. Uh yep, later. Chuk and I met through YouTubing and he rocked into Cabela's when I was working there one night too. Let's see, I found large rifle Magnum primers at Bass Pro near me for the first time ever. I was happy to pay that $109 for a sleeve? For one little pack of 109 bucks? Or you mean a brick of 1,000? Yeah, it did hit. Dead Horse does hit those kind of temperatures, but it hit 88 degrees last year. I was there. It's hit. It's hit it several years in a row. I mean, it's not. You know, I don't think that anything we're doing to the environment is going to cause a drastic stuff. 1,000 a brick. My bad. Yep. Anyway, all right, guys. Have a great night. Godspeed, good hunting. We'll have a 6.5 Creedmoor barrel length comparison video come out tomorrow morning. So make sure you go watch that. A lot of you ask questions I've already answered in videos. So go watch my videos. I'm kidding. You don't have to. I'll answer your questions. But anyway, guys, God bless. Take care. Godspeed and good hunting to all of y'all. Stay safe.